and what is his secret sauce. So we're waiting for Bedros to join. Bedros is here. There you go. I see you. I'm so excited to find out more about him and answer all of your questions, you guys. I know you all wanted to hear this.
Excited to be on here with you. We had such a good time the first time. I figured, why not do it again, right?
Yes, thank you. And you know what? There were just so many questions that were asked about you and what exactly you're doing, because I know you have this mentorship program that you mentor business people and companies, and they want to find out more what you do so that perhaps they can sign up with you and who knows, learn more from the expert himself. So
Sure.
the questions are, from the viewers themselves. I asked them to submit their questions. The very first question would be, how did you find out the moment? What was that light bulb moment that this is going to be your niche, the fitness expert? Why did you choose that specifically?
That is a really good question. For me, it was really simple. Fitness changed my life. I was a fat kid growing up, eating a lot of Armenian food because I'm Armenian, and so not very athletic. And so the senior year of high school, right, the year before senior year of high school, I wanted to go to the prom the next year. And I knew that the only way I'm going to do that is if I can get in shape, lose 20, 30 pounds, and ask a girl out to the prom. Her name was Nakaya. And so I worked out, I got in shape, that was my motivation. And I lost about 35 pounds when I came back senior year. The thing was, though, I never asked Nakaya to the prom. So I never went to the prom, but I realized how much fitness changed my life. Not just my physique, but my mindset, my confidence, my self-esteem, my self-image. And I realized I want to help more people do this, transform from the inside out. And so that, to me, I was like, that's my niche. Whether I knew that even if I had to train people for free, I would do this. And so I always tell people, they go, how do I know what niche to pick? I go, if I said that I would pay for your entire life, your life expenses, your health insurance, your travel, food, everything, what would you do for free? They go, oh, I would do X, Y, and Z. I go, great. Now be so good at it that people want to pay you for it.
Amazing. Yes. I mean, it's, people are all over the place. And I remember from your last conversation, you said, don't be all over the place. Don't be a jack of all trades. Focus and hone in on one thing. And
Yes.
that's what you're an expert on. So now, when you started this journey as an entrepreneur, obviously there's so many obstacles back and forth. You did have a mentor, you said.
I did. I did.
But mentors cost money, right? So what did you do? Because you said you didn't come from a really wealthy family. What did you do to compensate for that?
Yet another great question. And so my very first mentor, his name is Jim Franco. And when I was a personal trainer making $12 an hour, Jim Franco was a personal training client. So I started to ask him, and he owned a big company, a big software company. I started to ask him questions after every session that I trained him. Just 5 or 10 minutes, I would kind of bend his ear and I'd ask him questions, and he would actually start coaching me and mentoring me. So it cost me nothing. In fact, I ended up saying, hey, what if I train you 4 days a week? Because he was paying for 3 days a week. I said, what if I train you 4 days a week, but then you carve out 20, 30 minutes a week and let me ask some questions and guide me into becoming an entrepreneur, because making $12 an hour as a personal trainer is not going to be a good living. And so he agreed. Another way to get a mentor that's free or next to free is find someone who you respect, find someone who you want to be like, and then go work for them. Right behind me, I'm pointing that way because I've got 50 employees who work for me here in the building. There's about 5 or 6 people that have moved from different states and who work for me and kind of get to see how I lead, how I communicate, how I problem solve, all the things that they want mentoring in, and how I market and think and process and etc. So they're getting paid to actually get mentoring from me, but they're helping my business grow. So That's another way. Now, the best and most effective way is to just, if you've got the money, instead of going on that goofy vacation, or instead of buying that car that's going to depreciate, or building a pool in the backyard, invest in yourself. Find the mentor, pay the mentor money, and now you begin to time collapse because they have already been where you want to be. And so they can literally show you the kind of the blueprint, if you will.
Absolutely. So now you started working for yourself. It feels amazing. You're designing your own life on your own terms. So now what does designing your own life mean to you after you have decided to work for yourself? Tell us some of the things that you were able to do.
Yeah. So for me, it's funny because when you start working for yourself, you're like, oh my gosh, I have all this time, but no money. And so you go, I need to start making money. So you start creating products and services and whatever niche that you're in. And before you know it, if you do things right, now you're making all this money, but you've got no time. And that is the number one problem entrepreneurs have when they see success, is they are handcuffed to their business, because now they're making money, but they've got no time. So their health begins to suffer, their relationships begin to suffer, their mindset, stress, anxiety, overwhelm, depression. And so one of the greatest things for me is time freedom. Like, living life on my terms means I've got a team of leaders who can run my companies. And of course I lead them, but I have time freedom to do things like this, to go and surf, to go hang out with my kids and family, etc. The things that add value to my life so that I could really then pour back into my business.
There was so much that happened during COVID. What are some of the ways you as an entrepreneur are doing differently from others in your industry to navigate business through COVID-19?
So for my industry specifically, in the fitness industry, and actually this probably transcends every industry, is we found other income streams as well. When you think about it, the companies that had multiple income streams in any industry were the ones that were surviving and thriving. Because if one industry or one income stream dies, you can hopefully make money with the other two. So, we doubled down on our supplement company. We doubled down on my coaching business, not only business coaching, but also I have this thing called The Project, which is a 75-hour men's development program.
The pleasure versus the passion
purpose.
Driven man.
Yeah, pleasure versus purpose. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I pay attention somewhat.
Good. I'm glad you're paying attention. So with that said, what I did is I go, all right, if the lockdowns happen again, if there's another virus, if there's another thing that disturbs this income stream, I'm going to have at least 2 or 3 more income streams to make up for that. And so I think what everybody should do is find lockdown proof income streams that will help subsidize income into your life when the main income stream dies out.
As a coach, when you start your program, what is the very first thing that you do? Is it live or is it recorded?
The coaching that I do?
Yes.
It's live. It's live, one-on-one, in person. I have 49 one-on-one private coaching clients, and it's $100,000 for the year, so it's not cheap.
So it's not a group thing. You spend time. Okay, and how many times a week do you meet with them?
One time a month, we get on the phone for 45 minutes, and then there's 2 half-day coaching sessions in person. They fly out to California. We meet in my conference room for 5 hours. We blueprint what the next 6 months are going to look like, and then we attack those 6 months. And so the goal is to spend 12 months in my coaching program, but to get 5 years worth of results in 1 year.
And so within that coaching program, do you also incorporate a lot of the fitness into it? Because or nothing. That has nothing to do with one.
Nope, just business, leadership, scale, and structure. So how to scale their business, how to structure their leadership and their team, really how to add more zeros to your bank account. That $100,000 a year coaching program, like when you pay someone $100,000 in full, you want to see a return very quickly. And so we focus mainly on making money. But as we go, I start kind of pestering into their life and going, hey, how's your health? How's your relationship? How's your stress management? And we begin to pour into that on the second half of the coaching program.
So how would you describe your leadership style and what made it so effective?
My leadership style, I've been told that I'm brutally honest and transparent, and I like that. I wish I had leaders when I was younger and an employee. I wish they were brutally honest with me and direct. I will be very hard on people, but they know that I love them. No one could ever question the people that coach with me, or my employees will never question that I love them, but they will definitely say, ouch, that hurt.
Right? They need to get that kick in the butt. I mean, obviously, that's what.
I wish I had it. I wish I had it when I was younger. Because if you just are passive aggressive with me and you're my leader, I'm never going to get the opportunity to become better.
Absolutely. And so when you speak about scaling, because you're an expert at that, and you said you always want the ROI, right, to be there right away for your clients, what is the, when scaling a company, what do you focus on first and why? And how do you determine the best timing for scaling?
Yeah, great question. And so the first thing we do is we write down on the marker board all the different income streams from that company. Typically, we find the Pareto principle, which is the 80-20 rule. We see that 80% of the money is coming from 20% of the work they're doing. And then I go, all right, now we're going to kill your darlings. And that means the parts of the business that are not necessarily bringing in all this revenue and profits, those parts of the business we're going to kill. And people hate when I say that, but they love when all of a sudden they're spending 80% of their time on the 20% of that income stream. And that is the very first thing we do. And that also creates something else. If you have 5 income streams, but these 2 are making 80% of your money, let's kill these 3 and only have these 2. Now you have 2 things to focus on that can make you more money, and you have more time freedom because you don't have distractions from all the other stuff. But sometimes it takes a coach to look in from the outside with their outside eyes and go, hey, here's the problem. And then once we focus on the money factor, where the big revenue and profits are coming from, then we go internally and we go look into the team. Who are your leaders? What are your expectations of those leaders? And are they meeting those expectations? And if they're not, we find a way to either move them out or educate them and level them up.
And so when you have the coaching session with them, are you the only coach, or do you invite others and to kind of have a bigger picture?
If I need to refer them to a financial planner, I've got one that I refer them to. If I need to refer them to someone who does EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System, because they need a better organization chart or accountability chart, I'll refer them to Brian Underhill. So there's people that I might refer to, but I do the main bulk of the coaching.
And so what's some of the challenges that you have faced with entrepreneurs, small businesses that you have been focusing on, and who do you target? Who are the best clients for you?
So, it's funny. When I think of the 49 coaching clients that I have, doctors, anybody type A. If someone's type A, I love. So I've got a few special operations guys. They're from Marine Corps, but one guy's a raider, a Marine raider. I've got a Navy SEAL as a coaching client. I've got a Green Beret as a coaching client. I've got 3 doctors who are coaching clients, and I've got a NFL athlete who's a coaching client. And all these people who are type A, they take instructions and they execute. And then when you've got people who kind of have limiting belief systems, or maybe are used to self-sabotaging because they don't believe in themselves, they need a little more hand-holding. So I give them direction and they go, are you sure this is going to work? I'm like, look, man, I'm making millions. All my coaching clients are making millions. I wouldn't steer you wrong. So the type of people that I do enjoy working with are type A people who are drivers, like really the peak of the iceberg type of people, which is why I charge $100,000. Because if you can afford $100,000, you probably have eliminated any limiting self-belief years ago.
Okay, so now busy startup entrepreneurs have a lot of demands on their time and are often pulled in lots of different directions. Do you have any tips for effective time management and what to focus on first?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, here's what I'm going to do. Later today, I'm going to put up a post about time management because I planned on doing that, and I'm going to do it right after this. And so they'll see the details there if they follow me at Bedros Keuilian. But the bigger thing is singularity of focus. When you're a brand new entrepreneur, the idea fairy comes to you from everywhere. Like, oh, I could do this. Oh, I could do that. Oh, that person wants to partner with me on this. And before you know it, you've got 5 or 6 different irons in the fire. You've committed to 5 or 6 different people. You're spread thin, and now you're struggling. So singularity of focus on that one singular thing is one of the best pieces of advice I can give to anyone who's in their first year, 2 or 3 years as an entrepreneur. And then the other thing is, is to get so disciplined that you could cut out the distractions from the idea fairy, because people and ideas will come to you and try and distract you, and you have to be so good that you can stay on path. For example, I've always had the idea of creating a supplement company, but I told myself that until I have 600 franchise locations with Fit Body Bootcamp, that I'm not going to create a supplement company. I was disciplined. I had singularity of focus. When we got to 600 locations, then we created Trulean, our supplement company. And so that level of focus and discipline, I wish I had 20 years ago when I started. And so if I'm speaking to anyone that's brand new as an entrepreneur, like, I just gave you your first $1 million game plan.
Wow. So now when they start working with you, implementing ideas, right, for their business, say that something does not go their way and you know what, they didn't feel satisfaction. Is it a money back guarantee? What do you do with it when they're not satisfied?
Good question. I have yet to have a client to not get satisfied, because we really vet them out before they come on board. Not because I'm so good at what I do. There was only one person who had applied. He had paid, and on the very first coaching call, in fact, he had a brick and mortar CBD store in Scottsdale, Arizona. So if it was online, I would have been able to help him. But it was brick and mortar, and I was like, hey, I don't know how to help you. I'm sorry that my sales guys brought you on board. We're going to issue your $100,000 back and have a nice day. But otherwise, every single one of my coaching clients have had marketing systems and ideas that I've given them that have not worked. They have failed, but majority succeed. Some don't work in some industries, because I've got people from every industry. They have brick and mortars, they're online businesses, they're coaches, they sell supplements, they have services. And so the idea is to have the majority of your ideas work. There's no way anyone can have every single one of their ideas work.
So now, an ideal client for you said is a doctor, right? So someone that has been working in the industry for a couple of years, very successful, but something down the line, you know what, his ideas, I guess, are not aligned with his plan of action, right? And so you come in and you help him with everything. He gained that experience from you. You pick up his business, you scale it to 8-9 figures, but then he needs visibility and credibility in the press and media, right?
Yeah.
How much do you think press and media plays a big role in actually getting them out there, or do you think that has nothing to do with one another?
Oh, no, I think it's huge. In fact, I actively have a PR person who's out there constantly getting me on Fox News and into Forbes and Entrepreneur Magazine. And that has helped me grow my brands across every product and company that I have. And so there is a time and a place for that. And by the way, I just want to say thank you for everyone giving so much love in the comments. I just see so much love, like about the Empire podcast, about the coaching they get from me. So much love from everybody who's watching this right now. I appreciate all the love. I just keep seeing it popping up, and it's just amazing. But all this to say that PR and media is very important, because at the end of the day, what differentiates you from me, if we do the same thing, is if you have authority, that means you are recognized on TV, you are recognized in print, you are recognized on, you know, some coveted websites or social media channels. And those are all legitimate ways of building authority and credibility. And when you build authority and credibility, you can charge more, and it's easier to sell. So the resistance to selling goes down while your ability to charge more goes up. And that's a really good thing to do.
And so do you recommend them to get that at the start of your coaching, or how would you recommend them to go about that, like other services?
Good question. It's typically later on, because it's almost like, unless you have a strong foundation of a great product, great marketing system, and ability to scale, a great team, getting media and press is only going to be like building a 2-story house on sand. It's not going to be stable. And so we do the foundational work first, and then we get media and press, which is like, you know, adding fire, because then we can scale a lot faster.
There was a question here in the chat, I believe from Magic Alberto. He says, what advice do you have for
advice do I have for a solopreneur? Yeah. Best advice I can give to a solopreneur is start making money.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. It's start making enough money where you can get a second person on board. And if that means you have to barter to get your second employee on board, if you have to get them to work part-time and not full-time. But at the end of the day, you can only do so much as a solopreneur. And so you have to start figuring out how to make more money, which usually means
Shoot. Oh no. I'm sorry. Are we stuck here? You guys, are we stuck? I think we are stuck. Is it on my end or on Bedros' end? Oh,
did we do it?
sorry. What happened?
I somehow my phone dropped off. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, no worries. Okay. It's
Yeah.
all good.
But anyway, the best thing the solo entrepreneur can do is start making more money now, which means start solving bigger problems for more money so you can start getting employees, because without employees, you cannot scale a business.
Okay, very good question. I mean, I'm just looking at also, just kind of participate with everyone else that has questions here and answer anyone that would like more advice. How do you find your passion? I think we kind of covered that. That's your niche, but is niche and passion the same, you would say?
It is. Niche and passion, well, they should be the same. In other words, your passion is what would you do for free? So if I lost it all, I would still start training people, working as a personal trainer, because I love helping people with their health and fitness so much. And even if I did that for free, but I would be so good at it that people would want to pay me. And so that's how you discover your passion. And if you're like, well, I don't know what I want to do for free, well, go try several different things out. Work at Starbucks, go sell a car, go be a personal trainer. But you probably need to just do a little bit of journaling and go, what do I love? There's probably some things you have in common that you haven't even sat down to write and go, oh my gosh, my whole life revolves around video games, or my life revolves around collecting cars, or whatever it is. That's going to be your passion. Find a way to monetize it.
Bedros, I know you're very busy, and I know that, you like to play with the big dogs because that's who you are. But what about the smaller people out there? They need your help. Maybe you can offer a smaller package so that you can help the solo, solopreneurs, because we need you.
You know what I started doing, Liana, and I'm glad you said that. What I started doing in 2019, and I did it all throughout 2020, and I've done one already this year. I do 2 workshops a year where I charge $500. It's a full day workshop. You could either fly in, and it's a big group workshop. I'll bring in like about 80 people into my learning center here at my corporate office, give them a tour of my building. They get to see how we operate. And then I teach for a full day. And people who can't fly in, we do it live via Zoom. So as long as they pay their $500, they can attend that. And we give a large portion of that money to Shriners Children's Hospital, which is a charity that I believe in and trust. And so twice a year I do that. I've already done one this year. I'm probably going to do one either late September, October, but that's how people can get coaching from me for a full day, which is a lot of information. But they just have to kind of follow me, and they'll see me promote that. When I do, it fills up very quickly.
Well, I'm glad you're offering that, because I mean, that's very altruistic of you as well, that you're giving everything that they, I guess, invested in the courses into a charity. That's very thoughtful of you. And so how much of your coaching business has the spirituality in it? Do you teach them about manifestation in any way? I mean, do you believe in that, or is that something that you never came across?
That's kind of a rabbit hole we're going down, but I will tell you this, and I think all you and all of your viewers, followers here should read Joseph Campbell's book, The Power of Myth, and also Napoleon Hill's book, Outwitting the Devil.
The Devil. I took your advice.
Yeah.
I read the book with my son. It's mind-blowing.
Yeah, because it's not manifestation like the movie The Secret, where you just sit there and if I just think about it, it'll come to me. But it's manifestation through massive action. And, the things that you take action towards are the things that you get. So if you're always thinking about your bills, and you're thinking about another lockdown, and you're thinking about scarcity, then you are going to have all that manifest. If you're working towards solutions that are going to add value to society and make money, then guess what? You're going to end up finding a lot of money and doing well in life. And so those two books really kind of tie in spirituality and manifestation together, Outwitting the Devil and The Power of Myth.
Yeah, and so, there's so many businessmen out there that they're successful, but they have roadblocks, right? Because they don't have that confidence in them. And so you come in as a coach, you need to provide that aspect as well, where you have those breakthroughs, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, confidence is such a big deal. And, people tell me, well, how can I start building confidence? I go, look, do you set your alarm to wake up? They go, yep. I go, don't hit the snooze button in the morning. 96% of people hit the snooze button every morning. Well, that tells your subconscious mind that you're not trustworthy, and you begin to erode credibility with yourself. That is losing confidence. If you want to gain confidence, set the alarm the night before and don't hit the snooze button. Get out of bed. And then when you do, if you told yourself you're going to work out first thing in the morning, go do it. Now you got another win. And if you said you're going to eat clean, then eat clean. You got another win. And stacking those wins one on top of another, all small, tiny little wins, end up really creating confidence at a massive level that then helps you add more zeros to your bank account.
Setting the alarm in the morning, I think it's the biggest way to control someone's mind. If you can wake up without an alarm, that's actually going to prime you for the day, because you're going to be alert. You're not going to depend on that. So what if the alarm doesn't work? What if your Alexa doesn't work, or whatever you wake up to? So my father taught me this. He's almost 70. He works like a dog every day. He loves what he does. He's in hospitality. He wakes up every morning, 4 or 5 in the morning, without an alarm. And so that's what he taught me. Wake up without an alarm. Be so independent that your own body will wake you up. And that's your intuition. It's like, wake up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, goes back to the first thing we talked about, your purpose on this planet. If you're doing what is in line with your purpose, your niche and your purpose are in line, you will automatically, my eyes always open, 90% of the time, my eyes open before my alarm goes off. And I follow a rule that my friend Tom Bilyeu set. He's the co-founder of Quest Nutrition. He says, look, if I wake up 10 minutes or less before my alarm goes off, I just get up. I'm like, hey, that's a great rule. I'm going to follow it. And so now I do that. If I wake up 10 minutes or less before my alarm, I don't try and get a couple minutes of extra sleep. I just get up and start my day.
100%. That's the name of the game. So now, any advice for entrepreneurs on moving beyond the failure in their business through COVID? What's your advice?
Yes. In fact, if they look at the post that I have right now at the very top of my grid, they will see that it says fail fast, fail often. And that's what you want to do. You want to fail fast, and you want to fail often, and you want to move on. Like, far too many people dwell on failures or take it it's a sign from God that I'm not supposed to be an entrepreneur. No, it's not. Failure is a necessary recipe and ingredient for success. So fail fast, fail hard, fail often, move on.
And so when you look for clients, obviously you gravitate towards a type A. When you build a team, do you gravitate towards type A also to build a team?
No, not everybody, because I don't want my accountants to be type A. I don't want my franchise compliance officer to be type A. I want them to be very slow, methodical in the way they count my money, and the way they pay my taxes, and the way they do payroll. And so we use the DISC assessment, where we identify people's strengths and, whether they're dominant personality or they're supporters. While I have a lot of type A people here, they're in leadership positions. Many of my people are supporters or people who are willing to pump the brakes and double check things, because we deal with the Federal Trade Commission, we deal with the IRS. And so you can't just have if I'm type A, if I did my own taxes and dealt with the Federal Trade Commission, I would be in jail, because I would just carelessly go through it. And so I need people that have great detail to make sure that I don't end up in jail because of some kind of mistake that I made and didn't pay a tax or whatever.
So how do you react to negative reviews about anything, if it would be in your fitness industry, whether I'm sure you come across some negative reviews? How do you handle them?
Simple. I have a filter for that. The filter is, if it doesn't matter 5 years from now, it's not going to matter in the next 5 minutes. Now, if that review was left by my daughter, that's a problem. It's going to matter 5 years from now and 50 years from now. But anybody else, doesn't matter 5 years from now. It's not going to matter 5 minutes from now. Move on.
When you strategize your business plan for each individual, how do you know that, how would you make sure that it doesn't repeat? It's not the same from one to another. What's your, well, I can't say, I know you're not going to reveal your secret, but how do you know that this person is different from that person, and we have to go about it differently?
First off, I don't have a secret. I just have 21 years of experience. And so I rely on that. But the other thing, for example, if I was coaching you, the first hour of our phone call before you even fly here, our first 1 hour phone call, which is our strategy call, I get to learn about you. Do you like to network in person, or would you rather hide behind a computer and do this, right? Do you like technology, or does it stress you out? Who do you like to model your business like? Do you want to be the Oprah, or do you want to be Sarah Blakely, right? Or do you want to be Cindy Eckhart, who created the Pink Pill, $1 billion company? And so once I learn about you and what you like to do and what you don't like to do, there's a million ways to make money. Then I start creating a plan that you can execute that's in line with what you like. Now, some things you're not going to like doing, but I'm going to ask you to do because the outcome says you want to make $3 million or $10 million. Well, you have to do this, and this is the only thing that you can do. But most things I build around what your zone of genius is. By the way, thank you, business teachers. I love you right back. Whoever that person is.
and so is this, okay, so does each individual get a plan, or is this all a recorded conversation? How does this go about? Can they refer back to it? Yeah,
we record every single call. And of course, we record our live 5-hour meeting here in my office. And so they have it in audio and they have it transcribed in a Word doc. So sometimes if I'm talking, I might say, here's how your ad should go. And I'll just start, literally saying how your ad copy should go. You don't have enough time to write that down. But when you send that audio recording to Revcom, Revcom transcribes it all, sends you the 5 hours worth of audio in a Word doc. And now you have it right there where you can, modify, change, and move on.
Great tip, Rev.com, you guys.
Yep.
Google Docs does it as well, but I guess Rev does it better?
Yes, there's several now. There's different apps, etc. I just recommend Rev.com because that's what I started using many years ago.
Okay, so now do you have ClickFunnels? Do you believe in ClickFunnels? Because I know that, talk about that a little bit.
I believe in ClickFunnels. I believe in Shopify. I believe in Samcart. I believe in CartHook. I believe in Reversion. All of these platforms are there to help us make money. And I don't just believe in ClickFunnels because, Russell Brunson is a friend. I believe in ClickFunnels because I use it for several of my products, like the Modern Day Night Project. It's all built on ClickFunnels. But my supplement company, which is an 8-figure supplement company, is built on Shopify. But my Fit Body Bootcamp franchise is all built on WordPress. And so it's like a tool. If I'm building a house, I'm not only going to use a hammer. I'm going to use a screwdriver, a saw, pliers, hammer, whatever the job calls for. And so I'm so glad you asked this question too, Liana, because a lot of people think that the tool is going to make me successful. If I just use ClickFunnels, because Tony Robbins uses it. Listen, I know people that use a free WordPress site and are making millions of dollars, and they're doing just fine. And so understanding marketing, persuasion, salesmanship, influence, social dynamics, learning how to speak in video like this without saying, whatever, being able to communicate properly and move people through emotion. That is what creates the zeros in the bank account, not so much the digital platform that you're on.
You have a question here. How did it get a hold of your program?
Just go to bedroskeuilian.com and you will see all my programs and offerings there.
So Bedros, from the psychology part of this, because business is a lot of psychology, and you feel out the people who you work with, and you get that gut instinct. So do people buy from people? Do people buy because they're passionate about it, because they're in an emotional state of mind? Like, why do you think somebody will come and just buy from you, like this coaching class?
Good question. So people will buy from you when you're, see, the beautiful thing about social media is it's an opportunity for you to demonstrate your competency. So like, for example, you help people get media and get exposure. on, Forbes, Entrepreneur, TV, etc. Well, you can demonstrate that by putting clients who just got media yesterday. You can put them on your Instagram and say, I'm so proud of so-and-so. She got on this channel and that network and got this much exposure. And so if you're good at what you do, you can use social media as a place to prove your competency. In addition to proving your competency, that's called social proof, you also want to give things for free and come with a giving hand. So many people forget to fill the Goodwill bank account and they just go right to trying to fill the regular money bank account. So if you can prove your competency and if you can come with a giving hand and give people actionable things to do, like here we gave people 3, 4, 5 actionable things to do for free, they go, holy shit, I went back and did it and it works. So now when I'm making $500,000 or $1 million a year, I can pay Bedros and he can take me to 10 million, 15 million, 20 million. And so those two things are very necessary to be able to move people towards buying. So I think buying comes from the know, like, and trust factor, demonstration of proof, and then giving stuff for free so that you can position yourself as that authority.
Awesome. To wrap up this conversation, and this podcast was based because I wanted to teach the entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, how to gain confidence, how to break through, also learn from them, right? In your program, and I don't want to put you on the spot, do you have more women or men?
I currently have more women.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. In my business coaching program, I currently have more women. Yep.
That's amazing. I thought the other way around. That's really impressive. Well, good for you. Good for you for sharing your wealth of wisdom and educating women around. You're amazing.
Thank you.
So to finalize this, what is one mantra you stand by, you live by?
Well, it's the big thing that I always live by, which is never peak. The best is yet to come. And, I always say that to myself. But last year, 2020, I got to test it. Like, do I really believe in those words? Never peak, the best is yet to come. And I do, because it was probably the worst year ever for someone that has a fitness franchise. And I was like, okay, this is just a 1-year period or a 6-month or 10-month period in time. The rest of my life is not going to suck. Far too often when people are having a bad day, they think they're having a bad life. You're not having a bad life. You're having a bad day. And so last year, a lot of us had a bad year. But if you say never peak, the best is yet to come, meaning I'm never going to be I hate when people say, oh, remember when in high school I was in great shape? Or remember when I had abs. Like, dude, you could have abs to your 60s and 70s, right? And so if you stop living in the past and start thinking about I'm going to keep getting better, life becomes so much more enjoyable.
Absolutely. And I also want to share a little bit how you inspired me from our last podcast. So when you mentioned outwitting the devil, right away, I like to take action right away. I ordered the book from Amazon. It came in. So when I started reading it, I saw the author, which is the co-author is Sharon Lechter. And I was like, oh, a woman had annotated this book. And so I reached out to her and I also interviewed her on my podcast. So Sharon Lechter is someone I want you to actually, perhaps I can make that introduction. I mean, it's so crazy how the world, works in mysterious ways. She is a financial global expert. And so perhaps when you advise your clients to go further and have their financial thing in place, you can recommend her. She's also a mentor.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'd love that introduction.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Bedros, always a pleasure to have you and so many nuggets from you. Thank you so much. You're an amazing person. And
thank you.
Thank you so much for everything that you do for us.
Thank you. Take care, guys. Have a great one.
Bye. Take care.